Today on Attack, it's a Star Trek The Next Generation reunion. Next Gen stars Marina Sirtis and Michael Dorn crack Matt Myra up with tales of the first season's Blu-ray release and some very bad wigs. And Matt Farah heads to Spring Mountain Raceway in Nevada to check out the sleek but affordable Scion FRS. And Matt Myra will rate Google's Nexus 7 tablet. It runs on jelly beans. How many seals of approval does it get? Find out in Gadget Prawn. It's Attack of the Show, and it starts now.
I have been hosting all week. I'm like somebody I know who just took Tuesday off to go beach it or something like that.
I did not go to the beach Tuesday. I was working
Listen, here's what happened. I was here hosting a show, then we tossed to a package with you on a surfboard.
I was on the surfboard.
That's all I know.
I stood up.
Good
Can you
for
believe
you.
it? I couldn't believe I did.
I stood up too, here, working.
Did you have fun?
I had a good time. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as sweaty as I thought it would be.
Yeah, we had a real cold in here all week.
I was like, hey, let's make it Letterman cold, which is a thing because he keeps it at like 32 degrees.
What, so that he's not sweaty at all?
I don't know. He's just David
it
Letterman.
is
He can do whatever he wants, including
He
interns. We probably can't use that. So listen, everyone.
So what are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, it's Friday, theoretically. Assuming you're watching this on Friday, my Hell's Kitchen DVDs have arrived.
I forgot. That's right.
You're gonna be home watching a bunch of people cook beef Wellington poorly.
And you're gonna be eating your Pop-Tarts.
And I will have a box of Pop-Tarts standing by because I can toast those. Actually, I don't even have a toaster.
Oh, that's weird.
It is weird.
Doesn't have a toaster.
I actually turn the oven on and throw things in. I use the oven as a toaster.
That works.
Yeah, it works.
I'm actually going to the beach this weekend. I think I'm gonna live at the beach this weekend.
That sounds terrible.
I'm so white and it's summer and I need some sun on this
you
pasty
need
skin.
one of these. Ready? Watch this.
Oh! Nice.
Wow! You're naturally that white?
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're so tan.
Yeah, I am. I am Spanish, Portuguese, and Italian, or as I call it, Sportuguesian.
I like it.
Hey, listen, it's time to see the very best of this week's web bounty.
Yeah.
That was good.
We've all heard it. Marriage takes sacrifice.
Yeah.
For instance, here's a guy who's going to sacrifice $500 just so he can hear a marriage counselor say, you shouldn't have done that.
Oh.
So there's a truck getting towed, and it looks like it's coming at us, and my wife's asleep. So we're gonna see if we can scare her. Babe, wake up, there's a truck coming! I'm sorry.
Worst husband ever.
You can tell who on the crew has been married the longest by how much they're still smiling at that. Andy, our stage manager, how long have you been married?
19 years.
19
years of happiness and bliss. What a poor, poor woman. I apologize for her. Listen, everybody, congratulations go out to this man because your plan to live alone in a studio apartment is a complete success. Now we're looking for something crazy, so let's go to Korea.
The good one or the bad one?
Honestly, I don't know anymore.
초급과 승마 운동기가 우리 집으로 우리 집이 순식간에 푸른 초원으로 여름 들판을 달리는 듯 신나게 재미있게 즐겁게 무동력 승마운동 기구 자가 승마운동 기구 에이스 파워 말 타는 것처럼 쉽게 재미있게 즐겁게 나이 들면서 점점 약해지는 남성들의 하체 강화 허리 강화에 확실한 효과까지 이제 무동력으로 혼자서도 언제 어디서나
of the world's most muscular taints.
That thing is amazing. All you need is a couple of shake weights, and you can have yourself an orgy of fitness.
You went there.
Thank you, I did. And now get ready to be confused, then slightly turned on, and then confused again.
Yeah, you're probably already used to that on Friday afternoons, but now you can blame IQ's video for their catchy new yet disturbing song, Pieces of Gold.
This is where the lovers fade. I hold my love for you. Pieces of gold. And what can I say? Don't leave me this way. China star, fit the love and I'll feel fine. You fevers.
So good.
That music video is really awesome, but for some reason, I'm never able to make it to the end.
Matt.
I'm sorry. And now, a brief overview of the week's events. First, exciting patent news. It's your favorite kind of news, right, guys? Apple has received a patent for, wait for it, the fifth dimension. I know. Now, when I say the fifth dimension, I'm not referring to the theoretical fabric of space and time. You know, the home of Mr. Mixie-Pitlick. Whoa, that name I can't even say correctly. And I'm also not talking about the popular 60s New Age band that I once tried to start a cover band of. I was gonna be the bearded guy. Yeah. Oh, he's my dream. Now, what's actually going on is that Apple has patented a system of touchscreens, motion sensors, and virtual reality gloves, yeah, which combine to create a highly advanced 5-dimensional computer interface. Now, that might sound like Cupertino just figured out a way to patent 2010's Kinect or 1989's Power Glove. But it could also be the next step towards us finally getting the virtual reality I was promised as a child. Yeah! Or what we saw in Minority Report. Oh, yeah. But my personal favorite will always be the Michael Douglas and Demi Moore Ode to Sexual Harassment, Disclosure. That is how I want to go through file systems. Now, the 5D tech could go into Apple's pile of just-in-case patents, but it could also lead to huge advancements in entertainment, gaming, and even potentially letting us control home appliances and cars with motion gestures. Hey! I'm still not signaling. However, looking at the patent application, I noticed that in the future, we all look like a naked Homestar runner. Right? Which makes sense because the first thing everyone's gonna do when they get this 5D interface is make a beeline for porn. Yeah. And that will explain why my Jeep Wrangler is driving back and forth across my lawn at night as I vigorously explore the fifth dimension. Let's get real about some stuff. Guys, I've got some great travel news. A judge in Oregon just ruled that it is okay to get naked at a TSA checkpoint. Yeah. Goodbye, pants. I won't miss you. In April, technology consultant John Brennan, age 50, stripped nude at the Portland International Airport to protest what he considered an invasive TSA pat-down. And last Wednesday, he was acquitted of indecent exposure charges! When a judge ruled that nudity laws don't apply when it comes to protest. In other words, his strip down is constitutionally protected speech under state law. Yeah. So everyone who hates TSA checks and loves free speech, this is a major victory, right? I mean, come on, America. Gaze upon the beauty of your ample freedom. It's a penis. But before you decide to freeball it at the international terminal, remember that this is Portland. Have you ever been to Portland? Because a naked guy in the TSA line is the least amount of nudity this city has seen. seriously, it takes at least 8 dongs to get someone's attention there. Or a fancy coffee shop that plays Belle and Sebastian. Bottom line is, I hope we get a new extra fast naked traveler line at airport screenings. Because it can't be anywhere near as gross as those people who go barefoot through the security line. That is disgusting, and there are socks for that, people. Space Talk, you guys. Today is the 43rd anniversary of Apollo 11 returning safely to the Earth. That's from a Kennedy speech you probably don't remember. Listen, we showed the moon what's what, and just last week, the space paparazzi known as the Hubble telescope turned its cameras away from those Kardashians and pointed it at a 5th moon orbiting the dwarf planet Pluto. Yeah. It's a new moon. It's actually Pluto's smallest satellite at an estimated 6 to 15 kilometers in diameter. Or as scientists measure it, 2 to 3 space operas. That felt wrong, but I'm okay with it. But this discovery isn't all high fives and ass pats. Some astronomers, yeah, I said it, I'm okay with it. Some astronomers are freaking out worse than they did when Firefly was canceled. Because in 2006, NASA launched a very expensive thing called the New Horizons spacecraft to fly by Pluto and gather as much information as it can while whizzing by at 14 kilometers a second. Again, roughly 2.5 operas per second. Sticking with it, guys. The spacecraft is expected to pass Pluto in July of 2015, as long as none of the damn moons get in the way. Damn you, damn moons! Always orbiting. And for people who think that this new moon is enough to bump Pluto back up to a planet, get over it. Pluto is just fine being a planetoid. It's got other planetoid friends to hang out while it's in the Kuiper Belt, like Hawima or Haumea. I don't care how to say it because it's a dumb name. Or Maki Maki. Don't those guys sound like fun? Oh, Maki Maki ate all the dip. Or look at it this way. You don't have to remember my very energetic mother jumps skateboards under Nana's patio. Because now your coffee drinking mom grinds rails right under Nana. Sorry, Pluto. See, I fixed it. Remember what your old friend Matt Myra said. It's easier for your brain to remember less things because it's got size and it only holds enough. I have a headache. Anyway, goodbye, Bluto. Sorry you never got to sex up olive oil.
Hi, this is Brendan Lahr, production assistant on Attack of the Show. Coming up, Matt Myra will debate planetary objects with Phil Plait from the Bad Astronomy blog. And later, Marina Sirtis and Michael Dorn will chat with Matt about the final frontier. Stick around!
The creator of the Bad Astronomy blog, the Bad Astronomer himself, Phil Plait! Phil, thank you for joining us via Skype. I heard in the feed that Google might be recording this. Now, where do you fall on the big debate that still rages on amongst message boards? Is Pluto a planet, yes or no?
Where I fall is that people really need to find a better hobby, I think, and to argue about this. No, really, we don't have a definition of what a planet is. This whole argument over whether Pluto is a planet sort of presupposes that we know what a planet is, and we don't. It's not something you can define.
Right.
It's a concept, like continent. You look at Greenland and you say, is that an island or a continent? And the answer is yes.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely correct. And to say that, like, Pluto, all of a sudden, you can't say that it's not a planet, that sort of goes against science, which is to say science always changes. We find out new information, and then we go from there. And all these people on the internet complaining are like, they're just missing the point completely, I think.
I think you're right, and I can understand it. We sort of sympathize with things even when they're not alive, like Pluto.
Yeah.
And we want definitions. We want things to be black and white. We want to say a planet is big round thing, it might have a moon, an atmosphere, whatever. The problem is, every time you come up with a definition of a planet, it doesn't work. You can always find something that you would think should be a planet and isn't, or is a planet and isn't a... You see how confusing this is? I can't even keep it straight. And, look, Pluto was tiny, tiny, tiny. It's much smaller than the moon. If this were the Earth's moon right here, see how it kind of looks like?
Yes.
Looks like a moon.
Gotcha.
See, this is what happens when you're an online scientist. You get squishy models of science. Pluto would be roughly this big. Okay, now the moon is small. It's only a quarter of the size of the Earth. Pluto is smaller than that. Now, Pluto has moons, but so do asteroids. And, Mars has 2 moons. Does that make it more of a planet than the Earth? Mercury and Venus don't have moons. So this whole moon thing and planets is just...
Now is the size, is Pluto's size and distance from Earth, is that sort of why we're still to this day discovering more planets orbiting around, more moons orbiting around Pluto? Just because it's so far?
Yeah. It's really far away, and people have a hard time comprehending that, but it's more than 30 times farther from the sun than the Earth is, and that puts it at about 3 billion miles out. So it's actually past Neptune, and it's like I said, it's tiny. The only reason it was discovered back in 1930 is because it's shiny. It's mostly ice. If it were something like the Earth, which is not nearly as reflective, it would be a lot darker. Yeah. Wouldn't have been discovered for much later. So it was a combination of things that let us discover it at all, and they thought it was a lot bigger back then, so they kind of called it a planet, and now it's been kind of grandfathered in. It's been 70, 80 years, so people just think of it as a planet. But I would rather think of it as an interesting object. I don't care if it's a planet or not. Right. It's certainly something interesting and something we should be studying.
It's grandfathered in, just like me and my unlimited data at AT&T. Now, Phil, how something else in the news is finding planets that are much like Earth and could possibly support life. Now, there is a solar system that they have seen that is about 20 or 23 light years away, and they found a planet that could possibly support life. So my question to you is, should I pack my bags now?
I really wish you would.
Good. I'm sorry, Phil, I lost you. What'd you say?
One of the most exciting things about astronomy right now is that we are finding planets around other stars. This is something that we've been dreaming about for a long time. The first ones were found in the early 1990s, and since then we've found hundreds. And there are a lot of different techniques for doing this. It's really hard. Planets are small, stars are bright, and the planet's really close to the star, so it's overwhelmed by the starlight. Yeah. But we're getting pretty good at sort of teasing the signal of the planet out. And the question really is, is there a planet out there that's like Earth that can support life? And there are a lot of things that go into that. It depends on the star and how far the planet is and all this kind of stuff. And we're getting better and better at finding these planets. And we have found planets that are at the right distance from their star where liquid water could exist. And most of these planets are giant Jupiter-like things. But, they might have big moons that could be the size of the Earth. If you saw Prometheus,
I'm sorry.
I don't know if any of you did. But the planet actually is a sort of an Earth-sized moon orbiting a giant planet. We think those can exist. And so it's possible that in the data that we already have of these objects, there may already be a planet like that. We just haven't seen it yet.
Wow, there is a ton of stuff about space we don't know. And to find out more about space, follow Phil Plait on Twitter @BadAstronomer. Give him a follow, you guys. And thank you so much to Phil for joining us.
Thanks, Matt.
Hi, Brennan again. Coming up, Matt Myra puts on his judgmental pants as he rates the new Google Nexus 7 tablet. That's running Jelly Bean, which is the newest version of Android. Don't go anywhere.
All summer long, join me and Sarah Underwood as we welcome more special guest hosts like Michael Ian Black, Neil Brennan, Kumail Nanjiani, and Michael Costa. It's Attack of the Show every weeknight at 7, 6 Central, right here on G4.
All the news you need to know.
The feed.
It's Friday
Friday, July 27th, and here are your top stories. Just when we thought it couldn't get any freakier than last Monday's rat cell frankenjelly story, it does. Scientists are developing a microchip version of the human body. Researchers at Harvard University have already created fingertip-sized devices that mimic the functions of some human organs like lung and gut chips. Gross. But the team is now looking to develop 10 of these cyborg chips and wire them together so they can interact like the systems in the human body. These biological microchips feature circuits lined with human cells that carry liquids like a mini organ. And as if that wasn't freaky enough, they also stretch and compress like a muscle. Scientists say the goal is to spare lab animals and use these biochips for testing instead, but I think that's just good PR. Bottom line, this is scary. Now, if you're tired of party rocking and don't want anyone to teach you how to Dougie, I have some good news for you. Researchers in Spain have confirmed suspicion that modern pop music really is louder and does all sound the same. The study used a huge archive known as the Million Song Data Set, which includes pop songs from 1950 to 2010. Researchers ran the music through some complex algorithms, and based on data crunched from audio and lyrical content, the team found modern songs have become louder and more plain in their chords, melodies, and sounds. Thanks for your efforts, scientists, but all you need to do is turn on Top 40 Radio to know that, okay? And finally, the creators of The Matrix are at it again. This time they're bringing us Cloud Atlas, a mind-bending film based on a bestseller that explores how a person's actions affect the past, present, and future. With a star-studded cast featuring Tom Hanks, Halle Berry, Susan Sarandon, Hugh Grant, and the list goes on and on. I think it's safe to say this movie is going to be nothing but epic. An almost 6-minute trailer was just released, and we're going to give you a taste of the greatness right now. You can watch the full Cloud Atlas trailer online at iTunes. It'll be in theaters October 26th. I am Sarah Underwood, and you have just been fed. Now, it seems like a new tablet is born every day, and then immediately rated by Matt Myra on Gadget Prime.
Google is looking to get into the tablet game with their new flagship tablet, the Nexus 7. This 7-inch Android tablet is powered by a quad-core NVIDIA Tegra 3 processor and 1 gig of RAM. It's also running the newest version of Android, Jelly Bean. This brand spanking new tablet can be yours for only $199. Hey, look at this. Hang on, this review is not a review yet. Oh, there we go. Check it out. It's the Nexus 7, manufactured by Asus, so those people are actually making something I enjoy.
Yay!
It's a little bit thicker than I expected, but it's not too bad, and it's certainly lighter than the Kindle Fire.
Oh, yeah, it's really light.
I like the design a lot. The back of it has a rich Corinthian leather. That's for your parents, kids. The tablet is pretty minimalist. There's no buttons on the front, so it's just all capacitive.
So where's the button
sleep?
to turn
all
on?
the sleep-wake stuff's on the side here, volume rockers there. There's a front-facing camera for video chatting, but no rear camera, which is great because those are useless. Now, it doesn't. Here's the deal with this thing. It doesn't really stand out as like when you look at it. But when you look at it next to other Android tablets, I really think this is very classy and subtle looking.
It's very sleek.
I think I'm gonna take it.
Okay, that's fine with me. Now let's talk about the screen. We reviewed a 7-inch tablet from Toshiba last week, and you loved the screen on that.
I did.
How does this one compare?
This screen is not as great as that Toshiba screen, but here's the deal. This is an LCD with a 1280 by 800 resolution, so it's pretty standard resolution. The screen is good. I don't really have any complaints. Text looked crisp, the images look good, but compared to an AMOLED screen, that's where we see a lot of Android phones and tablets coming out with. It just doesn't compete with the AMOLED. But I understand why Google did this.
There I am.
Because they wanted to keep this little guy cheap. Because an AMOLED is going to drive up the price, and the price is really, they hit the price out of the park with this. So I don't blame Google for going with an LCD. They sure
have a
did.
good price, huh?
They have a great price.
All right, I guess we'll find out in a minute.
I think everyone knows already what the price is.
This tablet is running all of the best hardware inside, and it's running the latest version of Android.
Oh.
Is this the fastest Android tablet you've tested?
You know, it's definitely up there. I will say that. It's got under the hood. It's got a quad-core NVIDIA Tegra 3 processor. It's running the newest Android 4.1 Jelly Bean.
I love Jelly Beans.
Ice cream sandwich, move out of the way.
Ice cream sandwich is really good.
Jelly
too,
beans are here to rot your teeth. This is one of the only 2 devices right now that actually have Jelly Bean on it. Jelly Bean didn't bump up the speed as much as the jump to ice cream sandwich did, but again, it's 4.1 and you're not jumping to 5.0 or something like that. But the speed, you can see in the speed test we did, the Excite versus the Google Nexus 7. The Nexus 7 is actually just a hair faster
Oh yeah, I see that.
than the much more expensive Toshiba Excite 7.7.
Okay, so what has improved in the Android 4.1?
2 words. Android lag. Remember that?
Yes! That's
Remember
some
that
good
thing
news.
that we hated so much? It's gone! You did it, Google's. Google's new initiative project called Butter. Again, they're trying. There's a bunch of fat guys over there naming stuff.
It's smooth like
It's
butter.
like me. I'm over there. I'm like, we'll call this one ice creams and butter. That's good, right? How about we go cookie? I don't know if that's a thing yet. The sole purpose of this initiative is to make a smoother operating system. Get it? Smooth like butter?
Yeah, I know, I get it.
Everything felt snappier and more responsive. This is fantastic. I like the direction Android tablets are going.
It looks great.
I just wish the app ecosystem was bigger. I wish there were more apps. But Google did give away 5,000 of these to developers. So maybe they can sit at home with their free ones and make apps for me.
Okay, so with all of the improvements, how does the
Yeah.
battery life hold up?
The battery is pretty good. It's 8 hours, you know?
Nice.
So
That's
you can take the back of this thing off, so if you ever need to replace the battery, I suppose that's something you can do.
That's a huge battery.
It is huge, right? It takes up
massive.
almost the whole back of the thing. But it's running a quad-core processor. It's got the LCD screen, which is a hog. It's much more of a battery drain than the AMOLED screen. So 8 hours is what you're gonna get. You're gonna charge it every day, but get used to it,
That's
kids.
normal,
Yeah,
right?
it's pretty normal.
All right, you can get the Google Nexus 7 exclusively on the Google Play Store for $199.
Yeah.
What's the verdict?
We're giving it 5 out of 5. We did it, kids! At $199, this is easily the best Android tablet made to date. Even though there's not a ton of stiff competition, the price is just incredible. This is also the first tablet I would recommend over the iPad if $399 is out of your price range. So if you're like, what tablet do I get? You got $200, buy this guy, okay? 7-inch screen, I like the size. It's certainly better than the Kindle Fire, which is just a block of nothing. And what? I'm gonna go on and on. You're dancing over there. 5 out of 5, you guys. I just wish.
You want to dance with me?
Okay, this is how we dance.
Hey, it's Brendan again. I put the PA in party. Still ahead, Matt Myra is going to get all fanboy on Star Trek Next Generation's Marina Sirtis and Michael Dorn. Sit tight, punk.
Star Trek The Next Generation made it onto Blu-ray, finally! Which means Worf and Troy are finally in high definition. Yeah! Please welcome Star Trek's Michael Dorn and Marina Sirtis.
Fortunately, we're in high definition 25 years ago. Not today.
Not today.
Because that would be a disaster.
25 years ago, you guys shot The Next Generation, the first season, and I was watching the Blu-ray last night, and it looks like it was shot in the future.
Yeah.
Like, that is how good it looks. I'm not kidding. It looks insane.
That's what we did. We put it in the what was that thing called? We had the replicator. We put it in the replicator.
It just tweaked some things, you know.
Where we used to do Gates's hair in the replicator.
So Gates McFadden's hair is all replicated?
It was, because her hairstyle would change in the middle of a scene. So I'd say she just goes and sticks her head in the replicator and gets a new hairstyle.
You guys both had some pretty good hair changes over the years.
Oh, you mean, what did we call you the first season?
Lena Horne.
No. No.
Prince Valiant?
No, that was later. It was a white lady, I know. It wasn't.
All right, so Worf was a white lady.
I can't remember. It'll come to me. I'm old now. I can't remember.
Now, when you guys did it 25 years ago, you say, hey, I'm going to...
Too bad they can't Blu-ray our memory. Sorry.
Your memory will never be as sharp as the picture.
Never.
Now, when you guys did it 25 years ago, did you think, hey, I'll do this thing, it might last for a season, if that, and then have you just been surprised by how long it's just...
I think I don't know about you, but I thought all of us...
Stop touching me.
She just can't stand it. Just can't stand that hot black love. It's
I can stand it.
you know, I thought that there was just going to be 2 years, 3 years, make a little money going about your business. You know, I don't know about you, but
I thought, we were guaranteed a year. We knew we were going to do a season. And at that point, that was going to be the longest job I'd ever had on television. So the next 6 years and 4 movies were a bonus. Really lovely bonus.
You didn't stop there. You went 7 seasons on that. Then you jumped over to Deep Space
4
Nine.
Deep Space, yeah.
Made all the space money.
Oh, look.
Look at your
I'm
hair
watching
there.
I have my Caesar's showgirl hair there.
Now, you guys, the large ensemble cast, were there ever any blow-ups or conflicts backstage? Like, was
No.
Patrick Stewart kind of a jerk?
No.
well, actually, she hurt my feelings a couple of times.
That's because you know what? He's the most sensitive Klingon. That's right. He's a very sensitive Klingon.
Very sensitive.
And so I did, because we're best friends in real life, right? So I would hurt his feelings because I'm honest.
Right.
No. Not honest.
I speak my mind.
She likes to think of it as honest. Yeah, you speak your mind.
Exactly.
But she does it in that accent, and it makes it just more forceful. You know, like, oh yeah, you're stupid. You know? And a couple of times. But you know, the thing is that you with all families, that's the way it is. But it was.
Yeah,
it
but
was a
we
great time.
laughed. I mean, we laughed
All the
non-stop
time.
for 7
All the
years.
time.
We had a director who shall remain nameless, who directed 2 shows in the first season, and then he refused to ever come back because we were too rowdy.
Oh, too rowdy?
Yeah.
And do you remember? And Rick Berman called us into. Tasha was still on the show. So that was really early, right?
Wow.
So he called us into Tasha's quarters and
To chide us. To chide us.
like we were
Chastise us.
called to the principal's office, and we were chastised. And this had never happened in the history
Well,
of Hollywood.
if you were called into the fake quarter set, why not go out the 4th wall that's not there and be like, sorry guys, I'm done with this.
You know what we did? We just went, wow, that's pretty interesting. Wow, that was interesting. And then the next day we went back to what we're doing.
We didn't like him anyway.
Now, when you look back at the older episodes, do you ever like watch your own performances and go, what was I doing there?
I don't watch specifically for that reason. Because I can't. I mean, early on for me, I don't know what it was like for you doing green screen.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so embarrassed. I was English. We're English, you see, and so Patrick and I, and we were both mortified at all the stuff we had to do to stuff that wasn't there. So I remember one scene when there was supposed to be a light on the bridge very early on, and I was supposed to be blinded by the light, and I was like, oh, and I watched it, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know how I kept that job for 7 years. I really don't. I mean, it was like, where is that smell coming from? Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's from
my performance.
What about you, Michael?
No, you know, only early on did they do a lot of stuff that you kind of go, ooh, that wasn't a good choice.
Yeah.
Or, you know, but you know, because it's a Klingon, you know, you couldn't really tell that much.
Right.
You know, but otherwise, you know.
Donna Reed.
That's
who it was.
That was who you were.
I knew it would come back to me.
Now, I have a question.
Sure.
Marina, for you, was there a particular Deanna Troi outfit that you hated the most?
It was very popular with the fans, but I hated that blue dress.
Ah.
Oh, the flowing thing.
You know, it's military. We're military. We're the Navy. We're the space-age Navy, right? And there she is floating around in something like Dancing with the Stars, right? And the whole thing was one piece. So, with a skirt sewn on the top. So I had to get naked to go to the bathroom.
And you were like 4th or 5th in command, and you had like this.
Yeah, I had this dress. and when I had to wear a corset underneath.
Commanded
Did you really?
respect.
I did. I had
She commanded a lot of respect, you know. With that,
I wore a corset underneath,
Now-
which was like boned.
That could not have been comfortable to
No,
act
because
in
you
or
know,
walk
not
in.
because I was fat or anything, but because
Yeah.
we're wrinkle-free in the 24th century.
Oh.
Which is why all the boys do the Picard maneuver all together.
Which is the pull down of the. Yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, Brooks Brothers invented wrinkle free in the mid '80s, so I think.
you think they could have done it? You think they could have done it better? You think?
Now, let me ask this last question. Now, would you guys ever consider maybe popping back over to the Trek world, maybe in like an animated series form or something like that? Just throwing it out there. Maybe if I have an idea, and I want to do a new Star Trek show. And it's the adventures of Worf and Troy.
How much?
We'll get you another jet.
I'm there.
No, I would. It's people always say, "Is it? You're going to be known as this one character for the rest of your life."
Yeah.
Is that such a bad thing?
No.
To be associated with a show that, if it was rated back in those days, would have been in the top 20 every week, right? To be on a show with Sir Patrick Stewart, working with my best friends in the whole world, on a quality show, I'd do it again in a second.
Sure.
You hear that, America? Make that happen. Thank you so much to Marina Sirtis and Michael Dorn. Star Trek Next Generation is available on Blu-ray right now.
Hey, Brendan again. Still ahead, Matt Farah gets furious and fast with Scion's new FRS. Don't touch that dial, jabroni.
On the next Attack of the Show.
Comedian and author Baratunde Thurston will be hosting all week. Plus, rapper and actor Common will be here live to break down the violent second season of AMC's Hell on Wheels. Also, the Roastmaster General Jeff Ross will drop by with his new Comedy Central show, The Burn with Jeff Ross. Then on DVD's Day, film expert Chris Gore is here to play Buy, Rent, or Pass with Detention and ATM. And Jessica Chobot busts out her spy skills when she interrogates Jeremy Renner, Edward Norton, and the rest of the cast of The Bourne Legacy.
It's on the next Attack of the Show.
Auto expert Matt Farah gets to hop behind the wheel of a brand new car on the freaking Spring Mountain Raceway for his day job.
Whoa.
Totally not fair.
Yeah.
For years, people have been asking me what is the best affordable sports car. And for years, I've been telling them the Mazda Miata. In fact, since 1989, the Miata has been pretty much the only game in town when it comes to lightweight driving fun. And you wouldn't think the Miata's first true competition would come from Toyota. But here's the thing, it has. This is the Scion FRS, or as enthusiasts refer to it, the 86. The original 86 was a lightweight coupe version of the Corolla, last produced in 1987, which retains a cult following due to its low weight and rear drive architecture. This FRS is designed to channel the spirit of that car and bring back driving enthusiasm to the Toyota brand. Co-developed with Subaru, which makes a version of the car called the BRZ, the Scion FRS goes against today's raging horsepower war by removing hardware instead of adding it. Every part of the FRS is designed to enhance the driving experience, not detract from it, which is why there are no options and no frills. There's nothing in this car that will make you forget why you bought it in the first place, because your first priority once inside is driving. Let's get to some numbers. The FRS is small, and I mean 16 inches shorter than a Hyundai Genesis Coupe. It's also very light. At 2,800 pounds, it's 700 pounds lighter than a V6 Ford Mustang. The engine is a Subaru 2-liter flat 4, makes 200 horsepower and 151 pounds of torque. Doesn't sound like much, but it's not much car to move around either, and it's mounted so low in the engine compartment that the FRS actually has the lowest center of gravity of any car being produced today. It's also very slippery. The drag coefficient is 0.27, just worse than a Prius, which helps this car actually get 31 highway miles per gallon. Not bad. The most important thing you need to know about the FRS is that it's rear-wheel drive, unlike so many other small kind of economy cars. Front-wheel drive is okay for most people, especially if you're not an enthusiast, but if you are an enthusiast, there is no substitute for a rear-wheel drive layout, for a couple of reasons. One is balance. By having the transaxle and the drive wheels in the back, it improves the balance of the car through corners. There's less understeer, and honestly, it's just a lot more fun. And then, of course, you've got the drift. In a front-wheel drive car, if you're going too hot through a corner, the car will understeer or push. It'll want to go straight while you're turning the wheel. In a rear-wheel drive car, you can use the throttle to balance out that understeer, and by feeding more of it in, you can literally bring the back end around. Right about now, you're probably thinking the FRS is just about perfect. I mean, look at me, I'm having a blast. But not everything is as perfect as it seems. If I had to think of some areas where the car is lacking, I'd like a little more power, I would, but I think a turbo will come with time. As somebody with a history of back problems, I'd like an adjustable lumbar support. It comes with these low rolling resistance tires for street use, but if I was going to be doing any kind of real performance driving, I'd want a set of sticky tires. I just love how agile it is, how nimble it is, how it really wants to dance with me. The bottom line is this. If you're a driver, you cannot buy a better car for less money. Sure, if you live in Orlando or Detroit where there's no curves, V6 Mustang all the way. It's right there. But if your drive includes turns, and if you're the kind of guy who likes the track, the canyons, or autocross, this car is absolutely perfect. And I can't wait to see what the tuners do with it in the upcoming years.
Oh, you guys, we did it!
We did it!
I did a great job, personally. You guys did okay.
Yes, y'all were wonderful.
Whatever. I'd like to thank Marina Sirtis and Michael Dorn, Matt Farah, Phil Play.
And thanks to Matt Myra for hosting this week.